तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। Repeat after me. अखण्डमण्डलाकारम् व्याप्तं येन चराचरम् तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरुरेव परब्रह्म तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। स्थावरं जङ्गमं व्याप्तं यत्किञ्चित् सचराचरम् तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। We are seeing this Guru Stotram, in which it is said, Tatpadam darshitam yena, yena by whom, Tatpadam, that state, darshitam is shown, tasmai to that Guru, Sri Gurave Namaha, salutations. As we have seen, the Guru is one who indicates that state, the state of awareness or consciousness. And a Guru is akin to or worshipped as Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva. Not that Guru is Brahma or Shiva or Vishnu, but he is worshipped as same as like that of Brahma, Vishnu or Shiva. It is said in Shweta Ashvatara Upanishad, Yasya deve parabhaktihi yatha deve tada gurau tasyaita kadita hyartaha prakashante mahatmana. He who has Yasya deve parabhaktihi, he who has the devotion he has for a god, yatha deve tata guru. As he has that much devotion to a god, so if he has for his own teacher, then tasya ete kadita hi arthaha. Whatever is said in the scriptures, prakashante. They become revealed. It is to be not to be misunderstood. That one here, Vedanta does not consider Guru equal to God. Guru is equal to God if you have that much devotion. But a Guru is a physical person to start with. We look at a Guru as a physical person. But as we elevate in our knowledge, we recognize that individual represents the supreme knowledge. A musician is not the music. A musician, a singer is not the music. But the singer elevates you to that awareness of the music, is it not? Only when you have the appreciation for the music, you start enjoying the music flowing out of that singer. An artist is not the art. An artist who has drawn a beautiful painting, he elevates your awareness. And you start enjoying the handwork or the beautiful creation that he has made, then you start appreciating that beauty of the art through him. The cook is not the food. But when you have enjoying the delicacy of the food, then you appreciate that cook in such an extent that, hey, he has made appreciate the food so much. Similarly, a stone is not the God. A Shivalinga, the form of God which is put there in the temple, that is not the God. But it elevates to you to that consciousness, to that awareness, to the understanding. So when we say Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo, Maheshwara, what it means is he takes you to that nature of consciousness. That's why it says Tat Padam Darshitam. He shows that awareness. He makes you become aware of this. So that's why Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, when he was asked, why you are called Maharshi? He says, I don't know, but I'll tell you one thing. I am the windows to consciousness. You are in the darkness, and in the darkness when there is a window that opens up, is it not the flood of light that comes to you, gives such a relief to you and the ventilation in the air? And through that window, you see the beauty of the world outside. So he says, I am just a window to that consciousness, to that awareness, to that Godhood. So, therefore, without whom it is not possible. Without whose grace, without whose guidance. And therefore, the worship of a Guru is to be done as much as one does. Because it is said that if a Guru and the Lord, both of them stand together, whom do you worship first? Guru or Govind dono kade. If both of them are standing there, whom do you worship first? Guru first. Because without whom, I don't know who this one is. Whom do you know first in your life, mother or father? If a mother is alive, definitely mother. Why? Because without whom, I don't know who the father is. So in the same way, without the Guru, the understanding of God is not taking place. See, what happens is when we merely take up a particular form of God and worship, etc., we just don't even know why we are worshipping. Everybody does, therefore I also do. Only the Guru shows why and what are you doing and why are you doing and how it is to be done. What is the relevance of that in your life? He makes us become aware of that state of consciousness. Just like a child which goes to the school, becoming more and more aware of the consciousness about a particular field of knowledge, becoming aware of that. In the same way, the Guru is the one who is making us aware of our own self. The Chit Mayam, That's pure consciousness. That's why in the next verse it is said, please repeat after me. Chinmayam vyapiyat sarvam Trailokyam sacharacharam Tatpadam darshitam yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Together. Chinmayam vyapiyat sarvam Trailokyam sacharacharam Tatpadam darshitam yena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. There are three words that we should understand. Chit. Chit and Chitta and Chittam. They look similar, but they are totally three different words. Three different meanings. Chit, when you say it is consciousness. Chitta, when you say it is mind. Chittam is memory. So chit, C-I-T, chit, consciousness. Now, what is this consciousness? One may ask this question. You should have no doubt about that, because consciousness is that which you are. Are you all there? Anybody who is not here, please answer me. Can you say, oh, I am not here? Anybody? Please say. I am not here. Then where are you? So this awareness of one's own being, that is called chit. Nobody is deprived of this. Every being is aware of its own being. Therefore, it is not something strange. It is something which we usually forget. This forgetfulness of our own being is called ignorance. Ignorance is not absence of knowledge. It is absence of awareness. If I don't know a particular language, or if I don't know a person, that is not really ignorance. It is ignoring the self that is called ignorance. What is already there and you don't see it. Just like a person who is mistaking a rope to be a snake, he is seeing the rope but not paying attention to that. Isn't it? Usual example that is given in Vedanta is, instead of seeing the rope, you start seeing the snake and you get afraid of that and all sort of things. So what does it mean? Even the eyes are looking at this rope, mind is looking at the snake. So you got afraid, got agitated and disturbed. No, mistake is not in the rope. Mistake is not even in the eyes. Mistake is in the mind. Similarly, when I recognize myself as, or I see myself as only this physical frame of being, then I am forgetting, I am ignoring who I really am. This is what the Guru keeps on reminding us. You are that consciousness, Tat Tvam Asi. Don't forget that. So that chit I am, why I am not able to recognize this nature of my, because my chitta is not available. My mind is not available. In 16th chapter of Gita, Bhagavan Krishna says, Aneka chitta vibrantaha mogajala samavrutaha. Prasaktaha kamabhokeshu patanti asucho narake. What he says there is, a mind which is preoccupied, fragmented, divided, aneka chitta vibhranta. Chitta means, as I said, mind which is vibhranta, with aneka, with so many thoughts. Mohajala samavrutaha, engaged in internet. Krishna knew about internet at that time. Jala means net. Jala, net. Mohajala, internet. See, in internet you put one thing, it shows 100 things, another 100, another 100, so many things. In the same way, our mind is occupied with so many different thoughts. One lead to another, one lead to another. You do not, finally you are lost. Where did we begin? Aneka chitta vibrantaha mohajala samavrataha prasakta kamabhogeshu, because they are so attached to their own pleasures, patanti narake ashuchau, they fall down to the lowest impure hell. So it is chitta not available to chit. The mind not available for this attention to the awareness. Even as we are sitting there and discussing this, you and I are in the same nature of consciousness only. No one is ever deprived, as I said. No one is ever absent of that. But we are not available to that. As much as if you put me into in the first row of a seating where the Hindustani music is going on, I will be the first person to go to sleep. I have absolutely no idea what is going on. So where neither I have an interest, nor I have any knowledge. Obviously, because the act of knowledge, there is no act of participation. And the mind comfortably goes to sleep. Just like when you drag your child to this, to a temple somewhere for the ritual, and that fellow, as you are being involved in doing the puja or doing that fellow is... Why? Because that is his interest. So when the mind is not available, even that awareness and consciousness that is even though present in us all the time, not available. Chitta is not available. Why? Chittam is disturbed. My memory is on about something else. If my lack of knowledge or lack of correct understanding is not there, lack of correct understanding, due to which my mind is not readily available for this, due to which what is already there, I am not able to pay attention. So all these various scriptures in Gita or Upanishads are not telling us something new, which is already there. Reject all other things and pay exclusive attention to this. This one who has reached that, Chit Maya, full of consciousness. That is the name of our own Pujya Gurudeva. Chinmaya. Full of consciousness. We are also full of consciousness, but our mind is not there, and therefore we cannot call ourselves as Chinmaya. Our Gurudev, when he used to go to in Chennai, he used to go every year to major cities and give lectures. There they put in the posters in Tamil, Sinimaya is giving talks. In Tamil, church, everything is same. Cinema. Many people think that, cinema is being shown somewhere. Gurudev used to make a joke of it. I am called cinema. In Chennai only I am called cinema. Cinema. Chit Maya, full of content. Maya means full of. Like if you go to a Gujarati house and take a tea, it is called Sugar Maya. It is called Shakra Maya. Or you go to a Telugu house, it's called Pickle Maya. Maya means full of. So Chinmaya means full of consciousness. Full of consciousness means becoming aware of that nature. So, Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam. Yat Sarvam Chinmayam Vyapiyat. Everything is thus pervaded by that pure consciousness only. Which means, in me, in you, in every living being, and in between also. Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam. So everything is pervaded by that one single presence only. When it is in a body which is capable of expressing, we express as life. Just like these lights are all being illumined by the power, in between these two lamps, there is a cable that is running, isn't it? Is it not that is also having current? If you have any doubt, climb up there, put your hand and leave it on. Between these two lamps are also there is a cable, and that also has a power. But because the filament is not there, it is not expressing. In the same way, the consciousness is not confined and located only in living beings. It pervades everything, and this physical body, which is equipped with something called intellect, is capable of expressing it. Sada sarvagadopi atma na sarvatra avavasade buddho eva avavaseda satcheshu pradibimbavat. Shankaracharya says, even though this self is available everywhere, it is the mind or the intellect which is like a reflecting media, it expresses. So, in a body where there is no subtle body, meaning the mind and intellect equipment is not there, it doesn't express. Dead. So, chinmayam yapiyat sarvam trailokyam sacharacharam. Chara acharam, moving and unmoving. Everything is trilokyam in all the three worlds. Completely present. Completely present, filling everything. Tat padam darshitam yena. He who shows me that. So what is the benefit of knowing this or becoming aware of our own nature as consciousness? Number one, no more disparities. No more division based upon caste, color, creed, sex, form, culture, religion. All those divisions which we have created among ourselves, because of which we have created so much of violence among ourselves. No more, therefore, such dividing disparities. One sees the unity everywhere. One sees the continuous presence. Everybody is equally blessed by the same thing. Irrespective of what that person's belief or character, culture, understanding, knowledge, wealth, doesn't matter. Man or woman or a child or an old man or intelligent or a fool, everybody is equally blessed by the same thing. That itself relieves us from so much of such inhibitions and so much of discriminations. The Guru therefore lifts us to that state of consciousness where there is no more division. Number one. Second, one starts understanding the holy nature of it. The reverence comes to us. Everything is, because every one of us are in love with our own life. Is it not? Who doesn't want to be alive? Why you want to be alive? I love it. As much as I love my own being, everybody is in love with their own being. Meaning, the universal love, understand that. You can understand that. Everybody is worthy of being respected. Everyone, because you respect yourself the most, isn't it? More than anything else. You love yourself. You respect yourself. And that's why you expect others to respect you. Self-respect you want. Whoever you be. But there is a certain amount of understanding about who I am. I want others to respect that. So the universal love takes place. Not only the discrimination goes away, disparities goes away, divisions go away. And thereafter you not only you see the oneness, but also that oneness that is most beloved, most lovable. The third that comes is the ability to serve. Only when I see myself in others, real service will begin. So long as I think somebody else is different, another person lower than me, different from me, and his needs are different. So when I think myself different from another person, what I am doing is not seva. It's only work. A work becomes seva only when you extend the love of your own self in the form of serving other who is also your own extension. Service can never be if there is no love. Love expressed is the seva. So not only one comes to have the ability to see the oneness, divisionless oneness, discrimination is no more there. Secondly, he sees that that is the only thing that is most worthy of loving. Because that alone is loved by all. Third, then thereafter one who sees himself in others alone can really do the seva, service. And some people who are very fond of doing service to God, but when it comes to human beings, they won't do anything. Available 24 hours to worship a stone, but not available for serving human beings. When then somebody is alive, kicking and aware, you are not serving this, and you are serving somebody else, something else like a stone. So much of money is poured into that. So here the Stotram says very clearly, Chinmayam vyapyas sarvam trailokyam sacharacharam tatpadam darshitam yena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Why then therefore the Guru is worthy of worship? Because he is creating that state of awareness in us. It is not just a study of the scriptures and repeating it like a professor. That is not the work of the Guru. As I have been explaining to you before also, Guru is a personal guide. He cannot be a professor. He cannot be just a lecturer. He cannot be just one who just gives a lecture and then walks away from that place. No, he has to be there to lift individually, if the person is ready. Chinmayam vyapyat sarvam trailokyam sacharacharam tatpadam darshitam yena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Continuing. Sarvashruti shiroratna virajita padambujah Vedantam Buja Suryo Yaha Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Together. Sarvashruti Shiroratna Virajita Padam Bujaha Vedantam Buja Suryo Yaha Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. Such an individual who is ready to teach, to the fit student, he naturally uses the guidelines to teach. And that guidelines to teach Vedanta. Because traditionally the masters have revealed this knowledge in a systematic way. This systematic way of understanding the consciousness, the knowledge of the higher nature, is already set. So therefore, the teacher uses that as a methodology, and including that, along with that, he uses his own personal experience of that also, to make the student recognize and come closer to his own being. Sarvashruti Shiroratna is the jewel, highest jewel among all the Sarvashruti, all the scriptures. Sarvashruti Shiroratna Virajita Padambujaha. Virajita, which shines in the lotus feet of the teacher. Vedantam Buja Suryo Yaha. See, it's beautiful analogy is given here. If Vedanta is considered to be a lotus, the Guru is the sun. How in the presence of the sun alone, the lotus opens up beautifully to reveal its beauty. So also, only in the words of the Guru, the knowledge of Vedanta gets revealed. Otherwise, it's just a book. You can go to any library, any bookshop and buy the book and read it. But the inner meaning, the revelation doesn't take place. Not only that, Such an individual who reads, but he does not know how it is. Is it possible at all? Or it is just an hypothesis, an idea, some kind of fantastic idea. When a guru who is living that nature of consciousness is in front of one, he has no more doubt about this. Because what is said in the book is here. Let's say people like Ramana Maharshi, who was not a great scholar or anything, who was not a person who has read so many scriptures also, scholars flocked around him. Why? Because he's a man who lives that. They wanted to confirm that what I have studied in the books, is it at all true? And here is a man who is demonstrating it. Nisargadatta Maharaj, a great, again a saint, who was just a cobbler, or even a person who was making a beedi. And such an individual has risen himself to the highest level. And people flocked around him. People not only from India, from all over the world, came to only to get confirmed what their knowledge is right, their understanding is correct. And therefore they live like a shining star. Sarva Shruti Shiro Ratna Vidadita Padambujaha Vedanta Ambuja Suryoyaha Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha. More of that we'll see in the next session. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha Sarve Santu Niramayaha Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kasyat Dukkha Bhavet. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha Hari Om.